the interview with Tucker Carlson and the president of Iran, Rob. Tucker announces that he's going to be doing the interview, which a lot of people ask me the question, what do you think about the fact that he's doing the interview? I love it. I love the fact that he's doing the interview. The more I get a chance to hear what the president of any country has to say it. But you don't understand. Do you realize he's giving eyeballs to this? I got a lot of shit when I interviewed the founder of a Islamic Revolutionary Guard. And they're like, I cannot believe you're doing this. No, I learned a lot about what that guy did. So I applaud Tucker for doing the interview. Now, having said that, in the intro, Rob, is this the intro or is this the...
I can grab the intro. Hang on.
Which clip is that, Rob? The one
that is where they talk about death to America being chanted.
Okay, so here's a question that was asked about death to America. You as an audience, folks, run a poll. The poll is, once this is done, do you believe the President Iran's explanation of what death to America really means? It doesn't really mean what you think it means, right? It doesn't. It has a completely different meaning when they say death to America. It's more poetic. It's more loving. It's endearing.
Yeah.
It's coming from a place of gamesmanship. We're just kind of flirting with each other. You know how you talk dirty and you say, babe, I'm going to do this to you tonight.
Yep.
You're not really going to go destroy her. Yeah. You're just going to have some fun. So the way Iranians talk dirty to Americans, like, listen, man, death upon America, that's the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from a very nice, dirty, way of speaking. Rob, do you want to just go to the question and let them light it up? Is this the whole thing?
Yep.
Go for it. Again, just talk dirty.
You say you're not afraid, but Americans are afraid.
Go back a little bit. I hear myself in the background. I hear my own
We have
audio.
a poll running in the back. Hang on one second.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it. If you can close the poll, there you go. And then go back to it. So I'd watch this one here, folks.
It's a term of endearment.
Yeah, it's a term of endearment. Watch this, folks.
Many Americans are afraid of Iran. You say you're not afraid, but Americans are afraid of Iran. And they believe that Iran would like to strike the United States with a nuclear weapon. They see video of Iranians saying death to America, describing our country as the great Satan. What is your opinion of that? Should we be afraid of Iran?
I believe that this is a very wrong impression that anybody might have of Iran or the Iranians. I would like to remind you that Iran has never invaded another country in the last 200 years. When they say death to the United States, it doesn't mean death to, they don't mean death to the people of the United States or even to the officials of the United States.
Right.
They mean death to crimes, death to killing and carnage, death to supporting killing others, death to insecurity and instability. This is. Have you ever heard that an Iranian killing an American? Have you ever heard that? Or a terrorist that was Iranian and he carried out a terrorist attack against the Americans? No, it was your president who confessed that the Americans created the ISIS in our region, and they were responsible for this wrong image that is portrayed of religion or the Muslims in the world. And once again, I would like to tell you and remind you that this is not death to the American people or to the officials. Death to crimes and atrocities, to bullying, to the use of force. And
I'm coming to you first.
Well, we've never invaded another country. I bet that little report surprised the hell out of the Iraqis that spent 10 years going back and forth. I think there was 5 million, I'm going to get this wrong, but there was this huge number of people. I thought it was 5 million on each side that died in the 10-year Iran-Iraq war, where Iran never set foot in Iraq, didn't do anything, wasn't invading. They were going back and forth with each other. This, I find it stunning. I find it absolutely stunning. There are only 1 million people?
500,000 on each side, yeah.
500,000 each side.
But
that's
go
a lot
for it.
less,
I'm listening to
I
you.
thought. Boy, 10-year war? Boy, yeah, a little ineptitude there. So I think when I listen to this full list, what goes in my head is like, who are you kidding? The Iran-Iraq war. Who are you kidding? You've sponsored terrorism. Who are you kidding this? I have no idea what his audience is and who he thinks is really believing it, unless it's just...
The question is, does the audience of Americans believe it? What percentage of Americans just watch that and say, wow, he's right? Well, that's not what that means. Like, how many people did that right there, what he just said, work on? How many Americans did that work on?
I'll give you an answer there. 42%.
Look at that right there.
Are Democrats.
Our audience. Do you believe the Iranian president explanation?
80-20.
20% believe him.
Okay, so take 20%.
And that's our audience.
Okay, let's take...
Right, which means it's probably 30 to 40 that believe this.
Yeah, and a big chunk. I think a big chunk of the Democrats believe it. I think probably 33% of Democrats believe that because they want to believe that. See? We can be globalists and all get along. It's okay. They're not really doing this. This is subversive stuff because that is what 30% of the globalist, hard globalist Democrats want to believe.
Wow. Vinny.
What? About, you think I believe him? I don't believe him at all. But I was on a deeper thing. I was seeing a lot of stuff on Tucker and how, everybody was pissed off at him, but he started interviewing, like, think about it, he's interviewed Putin. Who else is... Putin, this guy, Orban,
Millet,
and it's almost as if I heard reports, and it was like people like him, and they named one other person. I'm trying to figure out who it was, that they think that they're getting money from, everybody always says, well, Israel's paying them and Israel's in their pocket. I've heard allegedly that these guys are starting to get money from the other side, from the Middle East. Like if you think, like Theo Von was one of them too. I saw reports where it was like Theo Von, who, guys, we all know, he's a comedian. He's hilarious. There's all the interviews. Once he went to Qatar, he was there when the president was there. He got back, and the moment he got back, all of a sudden it was, what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. And I'm saying go ahead.
Wait a minute. I want you to elaborate that a little bit more because there was an ad network, and there were things out there that it turns out people were getting ad dollars, and it was a big embarrassment to a lot of podcasts. Not this one.
Nope.
We didn't take it.
Nope.
Where they, what I'm talking about, Pat?
Yes,
where they all got surprised by the ad network that came from some bad people.
That's different.
Are you talking about that?
No.
And if
that
not,
was different.
what are you talking about now
I'm
specifically?
talking about, I saw a bunch of stuff on the internet, on X, a bunch of posts where the timing of people's attitudes changing about the Middle East. Like, for instance, by the way, Theo Von went to Qatar and went on stage and was making people laugh and everything. And mind you, I personally, I know Theo Von, and I never heard anything about Middle East diplomacy, anything, the war, anything. Once he got back from that trip, and then it was, he started being way more vocal against Israel. So I'm just saying that's the type of stuff that I was hearing. And so when it comes to like Tucker as well, I saw other people pointing out to the fact that he's starting to interview, not starting, but he's interviewing all these people and giving them a voice to try to prove their selves and make them look like they're not. Because, by the way, saying death to America, I don't give a damn who you are or how you spin it. Saying death to America is saying death to the country, death to all the people, and that you wish that place doesn't exist. That's what death to something means, meaning no life, no breath, nothing. It's death. So
Adam,
I don't believe
thoughts?
it.
Well, Vinny, welcome to reality, because Qatar has been paying everybody. I'm not saying that they're paying Tucker, but here, Rob, I'm going to send you a little thing of...
I'm saying, again, Adam, I don't know. I'm just saying I've been hearing a lot of it, and I'm a timing type of guy. When it happens like that, when all of a sudden you switch, it kind of makes me question.
Sure. Well, I think people have been yelling from the rooftops, watch out for the Qatari money for quite some time, because a lot of people basically say, who's a bigger foe in the Middle East? Is it Iran, who's basically broke and has spent all their money on nuclear weapons or proxies, and we see the ROI that's having? Or is it Qatar, who's basically printing money with liquid gold and has been funding universities, NGOs, anti-American, anti-Israel? That's where Al Jazeera is based. None of this is new to anybody that's been following Qatar. Now, as far as Tucker goes, here's how this works. Is Tucker being funded by Qatar? Well, no one in their right mind would be like, yo, here's your money, buddy. No, you use an intermediary or a third party to act as the sort of bagman to collect the money. Because in America, there's something called the FARA, F-A-R-A, the Foreign Agent. Find out what the FARA thing is. Foreign Agent
Registry? Something?
Registry and Associate, whatever it is.
One of Charlie's Angels, I thought.
There you go.
Foreign Agents Registration Act. God,
There you
that's
go.
close.
So if you take money from a foreign entity, you have to register as that. But if you allegedly have a third party in between, there's a way of doing this. This is what Qatar is doing. I'm not breaking anybody news. Anybody who's been following Qatar knows that they've already done it in Europe. If you look at Europe, why is Europe such a dysfunction? Everyone I talk to, whether it's Germany, whether it's the UK or Paris, they say the following: oh, dude, Europe has fallen. Qatar has bought every official, every diplomat, every single person in Europe. And if you look at what's going on in Europe, that's what they're trying to do with America. And who's the easiest people to do in America? The left, the progressives. Do you ever see that interview with the one guy? I think he was interviewed by it starts with a D. He's been on our show. The Indian guy. He's very
Dinesh
conservative.
D'Souza?
Dinesh
Dinesh.
D'Souza. He goes, Dinesh, respect to you. He goes, why do hardcore Muslim extremists vote or give their money to the progressive leftists? He goes, oh, it's so easy to understand. They have no values. They have no principles. They'll take the money. They'll say whatever. A man's a woman. A woman's a man. You know, go, have abortions, energy. If you can find that clip. Agree. He goes, I don't give money. There's no Muslim conservatives in Congress, by the way. Zero. They're all on the left because they have no values. They have no principles, is basically what he's saying. So to get back to this concept of Tucker, here's what I know for sure. If you want an easy softball interview and you're a thug like Putin, if you're a terrorist state like Iran, if you're funding terrorism around the world, go to Qatar, go down to Tucker and get your little softball interview. There'll be zero pushback. He's not going to refute any claims that you say. He's just going to sit there and do this stupid looking face. And then when you say something, and that's Tucker. I would 100% go on Tucker if I was a foreign autocrat and I wanted a zero pushback on that. Now, as far as believing the president of Iran, death to America. No, we don't want death to America. We want to give you a big hug and kill you with love. Does anybody believe that? Well, apparently 20% of our audience believes that.
Where's that poll at right now, Rob? I'm curious. Keep going at him. I just want to know that
I
poll.
mean, the one last thing I'll say is this. You want to have respect from me, Tucker? Go interview the people in Iran. Go interview the people that have been suffering from the Iranian regime for the last 46 years. Go interview those people and see what they have to say. Because I guarantee you're going to get a completely different response. Those people want to see the Iranian regime go and go immediately. But you're going to sit there with the president of Iran and take him at face value and then just smile. It's pathetic.
Here's where I'm going to be at, okay? To me, Tom, I think Iraq attacked Iran the moment Shah fell and they saw weakness, and that's where the opportunity came in with Saddam. I don't think Khomeini had a bone of military background in him to know how to have any kind of attacks being done. So they were exposed because he killed off a couple thousand of Shah's generals and colonels and leaders. So their military was dismantled, and Iraq saw that as an opportunity. But again, that's a war that happened. It cost a lot of innocent people's lives. But for them to say nothing, the amount of fatwas Khomeini put, didn't Khomeini put a fatwa on Salman Rushdie? They put so many fatwas. Even, Ruhollah Khamenei recently said death upon America. They talked about John Bolton. They talked about all these other guys. Stop with this nonsense bullshit that you're all innocent and it's not death upon America. When I was in Iran and we would learn how to write, it's so important. Iranians take writing very seriously. And they would teach you how to write like...
It's like art.
Honestly, it was like I would have a hard time with it because it was like art the way you would write.
It's a hieroglyphic
and the way you would go. It was
amazing.
So beautiful.
Yep.
Iran gave us Hafiz. Iran gave us Rumi. Iran gave us some of the most incredible poets of all time. So what is poetry? Words. What do words have? A lot of power. You mean to tell me that you can say death upon America and you don't really mean what it means? Let me get this straight for you. You'd say something like that to an average guy who may take it. Do you know when we had the professor that came from Harvard that was doing a study about
the police brutality.
Was there really a bias on
And
police attacks on blacks?
That's right, police attacks on blacks. And he came up with the report a couple times, and he went on Barry Weiss, if you remember, and then we brought him in here. Do you know what was the other research he was doing? Do you know what was the other research he was doing that he was going to be launching?
What?
The impact of hip-hop. You know how they say CIA was involved with hip-hop? The impact that hip-hop had on kids. You know what he said? He gave a glimpse of what his research was coming along with. He said hip-hop didn't have a negative influence in the ghetto. Hip-hop didn't have a negative influence in streets like, Baltimore or Compton or L.A. because they're living hip-hop. He said hip-hop had a negative influence in the suburbs of a bunch of white kids being raised who started listening to hip-hop, and the words of hip-hop got them to commit crimes, became criminals, act like they're gangsters. Why? Because words have power. What is the song by Tupac that say cost his life? What does it start off with? That's why you bitch, you fat mother, right?
Yeah.
And he goes into it, right? He calls out everybody in that thing.
Yep.
Right?
Hit him up, right?
Hit him up, yeah. And if you talk DMX, you go to Bone Thugs and Harmony, more murder, come again, right? Eazy-E, real mother. You go listen to all the lyrics here. These lyrics, and when you listen to these words, they do something to you. If you're telling me Mad About America doesn't have any meaning, then stop saying it.
Right.
Why don't you stop saying it? Why don't you stop saying those words? Why don't other countries say it? Because a 12-year-old kid is going to hear it, and they're going to be like, I'm so loyal to Khamenei, I'm so loyal to you, that I'm actually going to act upon these words of death upon America. I'm actually be willing to go commit suicide because I may have a place in heaven if I'm able to commit suicide and do it for my country, do it for my religion. What other religion goes out there and tells you to go commit suicide for your religion? Have we taught that, Tom? Christianity? Are we taught to go commit suicide on behalf of our God? What does our God say if we commit suicide?
No. It says go into all the world and teach people about me, baptize them, and teach them to obey.
What does Christianity teach you about suicide?
Teach you about suicide? Well, the Catholics seem to believe that it's an unforgivable sin, but the Bible doesn't indicate that suicide is.
Is there
some
anything
fatal sin.
in there, Tom? Is there anything in the Bible that encourages you to commit suicide?
No,
Respect to
nothing,
Jesus.
especially nothing to kill
Catholics
yourself
believe
and
in
to
that?
off other people.
Do Catholics
No.
believe in that?
No.
Do Jews believe in that?
No.
Do Scientologists believe in that?
If you're
Do
talking about
Mormons
suicide
believe in
bombers,
that?
no.
Who believes in suicide bombers? Only one religion. Why is that? Why?
And by the way, none of the guys in charge
Because
think
it
it's a
says
good
it.
idea.
So-
By the way, none of the clerics will
it says
say,
it in
I'm
the
going to do it
Quran.
first, I'll
Yeah.
show you how. They
Well-
want everybody else to.
Well, the challenge here becomes you can fool a percentage of people that hear that. Like my follow-up would have been, Tucker would have had an opportunity to have so many additional follow-ups there to that one specific topic, similar to the way he pushed Ted Cruz. Because to me, that Ted Cruz interview was phenomenal. That Ted Cruz interview was incredible for both sides.
Yeah.
It was great for both sides. I thought that was one of the best interviews he's ever done. You know, that interview ended up getting the podcast to go all the way to the top. I think he was number one for like a week or so. It was that good of an interview on Spotify. He crushed it with that interview. That's the pushback that we sometimes need with these guys, to ask the follow-up. Really? That's what you say? What about that? He knows how to do it. He did it with Ted. He knows how to do it. He knows how to re-engage. He knows how to bring some of that stuff up. So to me, the only argument I would make on behalf of Tucker why he wasn't able to push it was because maybe the other side said, we will only do the interview if you don't push and you only have 28 minutes. And Tucker had a list of 7 questions to ask in those 28 minutes, and he knew he couldn't stay on that one topic. And he even said at the beginning of the interview, there's some questions I'm not going to be asking because we all know we're not going to be getting the answers. Well, that applies to anybody, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask Ted some questions about AIPAC. Are you really going to get all the answers on this whole thing about, Qatar is doing what they're doing with the money? So is Israel with AIPAC. So we can't say that's also not happening. This isn't a part of that. The only difference for me here, I'm not going to sit here. By the way, just so everybody knows, I don't make friends when I take these positions because I don't fully gain my Israel audience, and I don't fully gain my the lady yesterday, because the VT News contest winners were over here, and they had a chance to come through here, and
Heather and the crew.
Yeah, Heather and the crew. And I had cigars with them last night at the cigar lounge. It was Heather Irby, who's she's listening on the way to the airport.
Yes, she is.
Loris Spatofra, I think he came all the way from Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. And we had Zach Geoff, okay, who were here. Very nice gift. Zach, that gift that you gave me is in my car, just so you know. Vinny says as well, the scripture, it's in my car, and I read through it. But we're sitting there last night. You know what she says? She says, I follow the comment section so closely, and it's so interesting. 1 minute, the Muslims are so happy that you're calling out Israel, and 1 minute, the Jews hate you, and the next minute, the Jews are so supportive of what you're saying about Muslims, and the next minute, Muslims hate you. It's so funny. It's like nobody really knows. I'm like, look, what do you want us to do? We're not making friends here with the positions I'm making. We kind of telling you where it is. But the reality of it is, you want me to sit here and believe that death upon America is not what it means? Get the hell out of here. Trying to talk to people as if they're dumb. Then change your language. Language is a form of art in your country, Iran. You know how powerful language is. Change it. You have the right. By the way, what says Khamenei and the president cannot stand up today? Today. What says today? Khamenei and the president of Iran cannot stand up in front of their people and say, moving forward, we can no longer use the words death upon America and death upon Israel. Can you say that? Can you say that? Can you get up and tweet that? Can Khamenei on his Twitter account that is still active till today, can he get up there and say, moving forward, we are a religion of peace. Yeah. And as a religion of peace, leading the rest of the world, we will no longer be using the phrase death upon America and death upon Israel, even though the amount of damage that they've done to our great country of Iran. Let's just say you say that. Even with that last sentence, I would retweet that if they put that up there. But they won't do it.
0%.
Because it's part of their profile. Because it's what they believe in deep down inside. That rage, that anger is in them. And they keep duplicating that with others. So yes, to the people that are upset that Tucker did the interview, I am so glad he did the interview. Phenomenal job with the interview. Because you either are being sold into a bunch of BS propaganda that death upon America really means, it's a shot at crime. You really are that naive? If you're really that naive, wait till you see what's in store for you in the future. If you're that naive, wait till you see what's in store for you in the future. Wait. Naive people are going to get, I can't use this word, but it's going to get very bad for naive people in many different ways. You're going to fall for it, and you're going to fall for it, and then eventually you're going to be like, oh my God, I thought it was just, but that person on social media was saying this, but I thought they were all good. No. Naive people get destroyed. Mm-hmm. Wake up, folks. Wake up. Only the paranoid survive. Wake up. That's what's going to be happening. These guys are just trying to sell you a bunch of propaganda, and unfortunately, some people are buying it.
I want to ask you this. Speaking of Khomeini, he came out and just made his first appearance since the whole war. Yeah. Makes first public appearance since Iran-Israel started. He came out, and of course, he comes out and he says, Tehran had delivered a slap to America's face by striking the U.S. base in Qatar, warning against further U.S. or Israel attacks and aggression.
Hysterical.
Right. Like after we just destroyed their nuclear program, took out all their sites, zero missile defense at this point, but they're the ones that, took out our base in Qatar. And then you see what Trump's response was. He goes, look, man, you're a man of great faith, a man who's highly respected in his country, but you have to tell the truth, buddy. You got beat to hell. This is what Trump said to Khomeini. So here's my question to you. They just lie and lie and lie. If you're Tucker, or if you're Tucker's producer, and you push back against Ted Cruz, we saw what you can do. But then you give zero pushback against the president of Iran, who's lying to your face. Why does Tucker not push back in your eyes? And if they say, listen, you have a half hour, please don't push back.
I think that's the reason. I honestly think that's the reason.
So then you're bought. You're paid for. So which one is it?
I'm not going there, bro. I just think you had 28 minutes. Sometimes when you got a 28-minute interview, your job as because remember, in the court, he's a journalist. So it's like what? Here's the questions. Go, audience, react.
Yes.
And make up your mind, right? The podcast, this was not a podcast. What he did here was a Fox News interview. That's what that was.
With the translator.
But the Ted Cruz is a podcast. By the way, the Putin was a podcast. The Putin is not the Fox thing, because you had 2 hours with the guy. Putin gave you 2 hours. He could have pushed with Putin. I don't criticize him on this one. On this one, I just think the only a little bit was death upon America, and we've always been a religion of peace and all this other stuff. He had 20. It's very hard to do.
I look at it a little bit differently. If he went to Russia to interview Putin, we saw how he just like made how the train stations are so amazing. I would argue when you're in the presence, in the Kremlin, maybe you don't want to do a little pushback. All right, fear for your life. We just talked about some guy who just suicided himself.
Yeah.
You're doing a freaking Zoom interview with the president of Iran and who lies to your face about death to America, and you're like, all right, next question. You don't want to push back 30 seconds, Tucker. You don't want to take 30 seconds for 28 minutes to maybe give a little pushback. To me, that we talk about how Dan Bongino or Kash Patel or Pam Bondi are losing credibility.
Trust.
This is why you lose credibility. You're not going to push back for 30 seconds, bro.
I see your point there.
It's weak.
But I do see it a little differently. If I got 28 minutes, I want to get as many answers out of him as I can. And if he gives me that death to America, I think in my head, I'm going to put a narration on the front of that, and I'm going to call this guy out on the short clip. And I'm going to publish the clip. I'm going to say, and then I asked him this about bop, 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 bop. And then he did this. I can clip that later because I got my answer and I can go with it. And it would be so obvious to the jury of public opinion that sits out there. But in 28 minutes, I want to get as many answers out of him as possible, which gives me as many places to go as possible.
And so you're saying that you'd basically justify not pushing back after the fact, but not during the interview.
No, during the interview, it's like, and that was a long question. Which part of that are you going to push back on? You're going to go, wait a minute. Did you just say all that?
Exactly.
That's a long question from the guy.
I mean, all he had to do was with this goofy chuckle and just like laugh at the guy's face.
Yeah, well, my thing is, and I think, Pat, me and you talked about it a couple of days ago when it actually happened, saying, I'm not even going to ask him this because we know what the answer is going to be. I don't like that. Ask it so I could see the guy's body language. I want to see his face.
Bingo.
I want to see, even if he goes, whatever, BS, I want to look because we're not dumb.
Thank
but
you,
we
Vinny.
could tell a body language question. Don't be soft in that sense. And that's where people start asking questions about, and don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Tucker. I think he's one of the most important voices to do, especially this type of stuff. But I do agree. You got to push back, especially death to America. And you're one of the most pro-American patriots out there. I would have been like, whoa. Seriously, bro? Seriously? Just something.
One pushback.
One
Just
pushback.
one
but I
little
get
pushback.
it. And you nailed it.
4 seconds.
He's doing Zoom, bro,
0
with the interpreter. It's less than 28
I don't
minutes.
know. Listen, guys, I hope he does more of these. So I know this is not a popular for some of you guys. I hope he does more of these. And there's nobody that gets more criticism when you interview crazy people like this, but we need more of them. We need them talking. So in whatever context that you get a person talking, get them talking, okay? Let them talk. And with that, this to me is a success because I get to see, because at the end of the day with Iran, with everything that they're going through, this was the closest Iran got to a regime change. Closest.
Gone.
Iran got to a regime change in
where's it
46
now?
years, and that's gone. Boom, period. It's gone to the next one. And who knows when the next one's going to be coming around. Again, that doesn't mean that there's not a surprise and an ace up Trump's sleeve that something could happen in the next few weeks or a few months. Because one thing Trump's made very clear, I freaking love it. I know most people don't like this. He's made himself very unpredictable. It is such a great quality when it comes down to a president that's going against his enemies, and you need to stay a little bit unpredictable, and he's doing that. The lemon box that we launched, okay, this campaign that we launched with the messages, Rob, if you can go to it. I absolutely love the stories that we're getting, the testimonies that we're getting, Rob. Okay, the Zested Forward. That you open it up with a video being played with the hat and the merch being in it. And it's a heartfelt message to people that are going through tough times today. If you haven't yet sent this to anybody, listen, I challenge you. I encourage you. Send it to someone. See their reaction. Here's some of the notes we got recently from 3 people that have been using the lemon box. Here's somebody named Patrick, phenomenal name. Hi, guys. I gave it to my wife as part of her Mother's Day gift. She's a national sales manager for a yacht company and found it to be very encouraging. She teared up when she received it. And I'm sure she will open the box again and listen to it over and over and over again. Thank you. Rob, if you can go to the next one. Here's something from Karen. The recipient loved the lemon box with the hat and video. It was just what she needed to pull her out of a bad time. Thanks for such creative ways we can express love and encouragement to people who need just a bit of recognition. And then the next one here, we have a Magnia. Bought this box for my son who was going through some hard times. When he got it, called me crying because he said it was exactly what he needed and thought this gift was the most thoughtful thing he had received. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade is a simple message and a great message for so many. PBD's message in the box was awesome. Loved it. So if you got somebody that's going through things, folks, job, career, family, marriage, personal life, go to vtmerch.com, zest it forward, send it to somebody. Sometimes we love getting stuff for ourselves, but sometimes we just want to make somebody else's day. You can't wait for them to message you and tell you how grateful they are for that. And on top of that, ladies, you've been asking about it. And my wife, some other ladies, Kim, others been saying, Pat, we need some sports gear for the ladies. So here's what we have now as well that's officially launched on vtmerch.com. Go for it, Rob. So make sure the golf cart doesn't come with the purchase.
Okay, Taylor. Alicia. Natalia, Lay. We got some fit ladies that work for people.
We got a gym.
I'm a little offended that you guys didn't ask me to be in it. I could have worn a wig.
No, we're not doing that. We want real ladies is what we want, not the one you dress up to be sometimes, Vinny. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order. When you do, you will receive a VT, I Love VT keychain. Gang, we know most of our listeners are men, and we know most men, what we tend to do is we tend to procrastinate. The ladies will buy gifts for you. Guys, go buy some gear for your wife, for your girlfriend, for your loved ones, and send it to them. Surprise them. Go to vtmerch.com. Make someone's day today.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.